The key to this problem is checking out your exponents. So our degree is 6, your second highest exponent is 3, but what you should notice is that we have 3 terms. So this should put you in the mind frame of what we did with quadratics. So what we had to do with quadratics, our highest exponent was 2. Our second highest exponent was 1. And then we had a constant term and it was equal to 0. So what we need to do is to rewrite this problem. So now instead of being raised to the 6th power is basically the same. So if this is x cubed raised to the 2nd power is still x to the 6th. And this would be 189 and here's our x cubed raised to the 1st power. So it's called variable substitution because what we are doing is we are going to take a completely different variable, and it doesn't matter, and we set that equal to x cubed. So now what we have is m squared minus 189m plus 8,000 is equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. And with this quadratic equation, we could use the quadratic formula, we can complete the square, we could factor this problem. But since the constant is so large that we're working with, most likely the quadratic formula is going to be the easiest thing for us to do. So, in order to use a quadratic formula, A is the coefficient of the squared term, B is the coefficient of your linear term, C is your constant in your problem. So here's our quadratic formula. First thing we have to plug in is a negative b. So negative from the problem, you plug in b, which is a negative 189, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that's our negative 189 squared, minus 4 times a is your coefficient of m squared, times c is our constant in the problem. Then a negative and a negative changes to a positive. Negative 189 squared is 35,721. Negative 4 times 1 times 8,000 gives us 32,000. So once we simplify this radicand, you have the square root of 33,721. And the square root of 3,721 is just the value of 61. So we have 189 plus 61, and that answer divided by 2 is 125. 189 minus 61, that answer divided by 2 is 64. So these are what the value of not x, but what m is in the problem, because we solved this equation using m. And our original problem is in terms of x. So what we have to do with these two values, we said that m is equal to x cubed. So we had m is equal to 125 and m is equal to 64. And m we said is the same thing as x cubed. So x cubed is equal to 64. And x cubed is equal to 125. So, in order to get our final answer, we need to do the opposite of cubing, which is taking the cube root. So the cube root of 125 is just 5. So x is equal to 5. And the cube root of 64 is 4. Now, I'm assuming the directions just ask you for the real solutions and not all of your solutions, because since our degree is 6, that means we have a maximum of 6 solutions, and you see that we only came up with 2 solutions. So this is assuming that the directions said solve for all real solutions.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.